Dear all, welcome to the playlist of Basic Electrical Engineering. In this video, I'll be discussing about important terminologies which are used in Basic Electrical Engineering. And also, in order to observe the previous video, you can able to check the I button on the right top of this particular video. Let me discuss the session. As you can see, these are the basic terminologies which are used in electrical engineering. Charge, drift velocity, electric current, resistance, then drifting current, current density, voltage, electric field, power and energy, EMF, efficiency. Let us understand the basics of these terminologies. So before studying the basic electrical engineering, better you should know the awareness of these terminologies. You should have a good idea about these terminologies. It is frequently used terms. That's why I'm going to explain in this session. Moving on to the first point, I would like to discuss about charge. What do you mean by charge? So charge is considered as the quantity of electricity. The unit of charge is represented as coulomb. It is denoted by the capital letter C. It is an SI unit, and also the electric charge is basically a scalar quantity. Then you can able to see it is a number of electrons. See, if I talk about negative charges, it is basically electrons, number of electrons, or it may be number of protons. How do you compute the charge? So charge can be calculated by using a simple formula. Q is equal to current into time. I will let you know what is current. Okay. I into time, that is equal to charge. Or else Q is equal to N into E, where N is the number and E is the charge of electron. You know the value of charge of electron, that is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. I would like to suggest you a better analogy. You can able to compare the two figures, figure number 1 and figure number 2. Figure number 1 is basically an electrical system, where figure 2 is represented as a mechanical system. What is the source of figure number 1? Battery. There are a lot of charges which are stored inside the battery. There is a switch, SPST switch, single pole, single throw switch. We have a lamp. If I look at the second diagram, there is a water tank where the water is kept filled almost 75%. There is a tap which is for the controlling of water, movement of the water. And we are having a water wheel. Now, water wheel can be directly compared with what I can say, lamp. Both are loads. The switch can be compared with the tap. Okay. Where the charge which is stored inside the battery can compare with the water which is stored inside the tank. That is a beautiful analogy. You have to understand. Anyway, we cannot able to observe electricity. We cannot, by using the naked eye, it's not possible to see the electricity, but we can able to compare. If you understand this concept, everything will be simple. Okay. Now, we have understood what is the meaning of charge. Okay. You know, the like charges that will repel each other, where unlike charge attracts. So basics of charge law, Coulomb's law, you have studied in PU classes, I think. Okay, we'll make a separate session regarding Coulomb's law. Now I would like to discuss about one of the important terminologies which is used in electrical engineering. That is called drift velocity. What do you mean by drift velocity? It is represented by the letter Vd. Okay, V subscript D. The average velocity of the charge carrier moving under the influence of applied electric field is called as drift velocity. It is represented by the term Vd, one of the word Vd. Okay, the average velocity attained by the charged particle, for example, electrons in a material due to electric field. The unit of drift velocity is normally represented as millimeter per second. You can able to see there is a zigzag movement whenever you are going to apply an electric field. Okay, what is going to happen? There is a zigzag movement. Electron will be moving from one point to another point. Zigzag motion you can able to observe. Okay, there is a zigzag motion. I would like to say that the movement is not linear, it's a zigzag. Okay, random movement, one terminal to another terminal. You can able to see the direction of electric field. This is the direction of electric field. Okay, and the drift velocity that will happening in this manner. Okay, Vd. Hope you understood. And also you can able to compute the drift velocity by using the simple formula I divided by N into E into A, where Vd is known as drift velocity, I is nothing but current, flowing through the conductor, N is the electron density, free electron density, and E is the charge of electron, that is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, where A is the area of cross section. A is the area of cross section of the conductor. So this is known as drift velocity. This definition is belong to drift velocity. Very important terminology. Okay, so drift velocity Vd is directly proportional to current. As the current increases, what is going to happen? Drift velocity is also getting increased. As the area increases, drift velocity reduces because both are inversely proportional. Let me discuss one of the most important terminology, electric current. It is denoted by the capital letter I. What do you mean by electric current? Electric current is the rate of flow of electrons in a conductor. Electrons or charges are under motion. Then we can call there is an electricity. What is the SI unit of electricity? Of course, it's an ampere. And it is the flow rate of electric charge. That is why the I is written as Q by T. I is equal to Q divided by it. Same thing I have written over there. The current that is written as Q divided by T, flow of electrons or flow of charge. Or else you can write NE by T, where N is the number of electrons and E is the charge of electron. And what is the unit of electric current? Ampere, but it's a scalar quantity. Why? Because it does not obey the vector addition rule. You must have heard about parallelogram law of vector addition. It will not be following any type of vector rule. Therefore, I must say that it is a pure scalar quantity. You have to consider a conductor and we are applying a supply voltage of E. Let me call E. Whenever I am going to provide the supply voltage, there is a current. Okay, current flow starts. You can able to see the movement of current flow from A to B. Inside the conductor, current will be flowing. See, you can able to see there is a movement of current. Okay, so the thing is, if I talk about the direction of current and the direction of electron flow, both are opposite. That you can able to observe. The direction of current and the electron flow both are opposite. That observation also can be observed here. One more conclusion, 1 ampere. How do you define 1 ampere? You may get the question from Viva examination. 1 ampere can be defined as the flow of 1 coulomb charge pass at any point of a conductor in 1 second. Okay, 1 ampere is equal to 1 coulomb by 1 second. Thus, you can able to define the 1 ampere very easily by using that equation. So this is the most important terminology. Now you can able to compare the current flow with respect to a natural phenomenon. You can able to see a river. Here water will be flowing, say water is actually flowing in this direction. That means water flow that can be analogous with the current. Okay, current flow in a conductor is analogous with the water flow. It is a real-time natural phenomenon that can be directly compared with the electric current. So your understanding will be improved. So that is why better you compare everything with the analogous quantity. See, the same thing I explained already. The charge which is stored inside the battery can be compared with the water which is stored inside the tank. The lamp which will be compared with the, one of the mechanical load, that is water wheel. The tap can be compared with the switch. Okay, so better if you compare, you can definitely understand everything in an easy manner. There are two types of current, you know. One is AC current, alternating current. In alternating current, there are two half cycle. One is positive half cycle, another is negative half cycle. There must be a frequency also. I'll let you know what is frequency, what is RMS value, average value, everything. So current flow will be taken place in positive and negative direction. Such kind of currents are generally known as alternating current, where the unidirectional flow of current is belong to DC quantity, unidirectional current flow. There won't be any changes, only one direction. Okay, it's a constant. There is the current is not changing with respect to time. So such type of currents are generally known as a DC current, direct quantity as well as AC quantity. Normally from your supply, if you look at the supply, utility supply, that is purely AC right now. If I talk about output of solar, then battery, that is purely DC current. You can able to make a comparison. What do you mean by current density? Current density will be represented by the letter J. It is nothing but the amount of electric current traveling per unit cross section area is known as current density. It is represented by ampere per square meter, SI unit. So current per unit area. You know, more current in a conductor, that means higher will be the current density. It is a vector quantity, and also we can able to calculate one current density by using the equation followed by J is equal to I divided by A. What is the unit of SI unit of current density? I have already explained. It is ampere per meter square. So this is the importance of current density, one of the important terminology. I'll be solving some numerical example according to these parameters. One of the another important parameter in electrical engineering, that is resistance. What do you mean by resistance? So resistance is a measure of opposition of current flow in a conductor or an electric circuit. It can be computed by using Ohm's law, that is R is equal to V divided by I. Okay, it is represented, what is the SI unit? Ohm. It has been taken from Greek letter omega. It is represented by Greek letter omega. So R is resistance, V is the voltage, I is current. This is according to Ohm's law. I'll be explaining Ohm's law in depth. Already I have done one demonstration. If you want, you can observe. I'll be putting up in the description box. Okay. Similarly, there is another terminology that is called resistivity. So you know that resistance is directly proportional to length of a conductor. Resistance is directly inversely proportional to the area of conductor. By combining these two terminology, I can write R is directly proportional to L by A. In order to remove the proportionality constant, what I am going to do is I'll be calling one constant, that is R is equal to, that is called rho. Rho into L divided by A. This rho is known as resistivity, or you can call specific resistance. It is defined as the ability of a conductor or a material to oppose the electric current. That is called a resistivity. So this equation I will be deriving separately. So that is the importance of resistance. Similarly, we can able to compare the resistance with one of the natural phenomena. You can able to see. I will take you that beautiful example. See, it is very clear that if there are some debris or branches of trees which are falling over the water, or some kind of rocks which are present over the top portion of the water, definitely it reduces the water flow. Anyway, water flow can be compared with the current. Because of these constraints like debris and branches of trees, these kind of shrubs, because of these rocks, water flow will get reduced. So these kind of things will offer, this kind of material resist the movement of water flow. So that offers certain amount of resistance. I hope you can compare very easily. It's one of the very good example. Okay, that means this offers a certain friction. So that is representing resistance. Similarly, if I talk about resistance, I have to explain one more term, that is called conductance. That is called conductance. Conductance normally we represent it by the term G. Conductance is nothing but the reciprocal of resistance. Okay, reciprocal of resistance. It is represented by the letter Siemens. Siemens. Unit is Siemens. That means inverse of Ohm, right? You can call what I can say R inverse. R inverse. Okay, it is R inverse. R inverse. It is the ability of a material to support the flow of electrons or flow of current. That is called the conductance. I hope it is very clear. So resistance and conductance both are opposite to each other. Okay, conductance. Similarly, I can able to explain conductivity also. Conductivity is defined as the ability of a conductor to pass the electric current. That is called a conductivity. Okay, resistance versus conductance, then resistivity versus conductivity. I hope it is very clear to you. Okay. Now, one of the unavoidable points in electrical engineering, that is called voltage or potential difference. What do you mean by potential difference or voltage? Voltage, it is also known as electric potential difference, or else you can call electric pressure, or you can call electric tension. It can be defined as the electric potential difference per unit charge between 2 points of an electric field. That means the work done to bring the charge from one point to another point. It can be represented either V or capital E. So in static electric field, the work required to move per unit of charge between 2 points are known as electric voltage. Or else you can able to write one more expression, voltage is equal to the ratio of work to the charge, W by Q. What is the unit of work? You can call joule. What is the unit of charge? Coulomb. So I have written as joule per coulomb, that is the unit of voltage. According to Ohm's law, you can write the voltage is equal to I into R, according to Ohm's law. This is another expression. Okay, it is basically an electric pressure to move the charge from one point to another point. Do remember this. This is also one of the important concept in electrical engineering, electric potential difference. Okay, that means look at the analogous quantity. Suppose if I am maintaining, assume that I am going to maintain the height of the water tank little bit more. If I maintain the bulk amount of height, if I maintain the large height, what is the speciality? Potential energy will be increased. Because of that, current flow will be getting increased. For example, if I talk about electric system, if I charge the battery completely, definitely the current flow will be more. If the battery is about to empty, definitely current flow will be reduced, so that we can able to compare the water level that can be compared with the charge which is stored inside the battery. All right. So this is another analogy. Please do compare everything and study so that it will be most interesting and you can able to remember ever. What is the difference between voltage rise? Voltage rise is in the sense, consider the circuit diagram. Here, there is one battery. Okay, there is one battery. And in the second case, we are having battery. But the polarity is different. You know, the polarity is different. Suppose the direction of, first let us discuss about voltage rise. So this is negative and this will be positive. Negative means lower potential, positive means higher potential. If the current is flowing in this manner, we can able to say that the current is moving from lower point to higher point. Therefore, it offers a voltage rise. There is an increase in voltage. If I look at the opposite hand, here what is going to happen? The current flow will be reduced from positive to negative. That means it represents the voltage drop. It is very important if I talk about Kirchhoff voltage law, KVL. I'll be explaining, no worries. The voltage drop is the decrease of electric potential along with the path of current flowing through the electric circuit. And the voltage rise is just opposite of voltage drop. Okay. So the sign convention is also very important if I talk about Kirchhoff voltage law. At that time, I am going to recall once again. Next is another important terminology that is called electric field. So electric field, how we can able to define electric field? So electric field is defined mathematically as a vector field, is a vector quantity which can be associated with each point in a space, the force per unit charge offered by a particular positive test charge, force per unit charge. Okay, force per unit charge, F by Q, ratio of force per unit charge. It's a vector quantity, obviously. So there are positive charges and negative charges. If I talk about electrons, it is having negative charges. If I talk about positive, definitely it will be positive charge. You can able to observe the direction of electromagnetic lines of force. Okay, the electromagnetic lines of force that will be starting from positive to negative. So this area that is called electric field, because there will be a presence of electromagnetic lines of force. It will be always passing from positive to negative. Look at here, positive to negative. So there is a field. Okay, there is a field. There is what I can say. There will be always a force per unit charge that is representing electric field. Regarding the direction, regarding the positive, from the electromagnetic lines of force that will be moving away from positive charge, where electromagnetic lines of force are traveling towards the negative charge. That point you have to remember, direction, because you can able to observe the direction. It is very clear, and also the movement will be radial direction. That point also I would like to tell you. This is known as electric field. There will be always presence of electromagnetic lines of force. Okay, electromagnetic lines of force. In magnetic circuit, there will be flux. Here, in electric field, there will be electromagnetic lines of force. Now, electric field strength can be represented as volt per meter. Volt per meter. Another unit is volt per meter. The direction of field is taken as direction of the force is exerted on the positive charge. So we are talking about based on a unit test charge. And if I talk about the direction, it is specifically radially outwards from the positive charge, where if I talk about negative charges, it will be radially inward. And also you can able to compute the electric field for a particular test charge by using the formula E is equal to force upon Q. Force upon Q. Okay. And the distance is also matters a lot. Distance at a particular point also matters a lot if I talk about the electric field. Okay, so you have to bifurcate the positive charge, electric field in case of positive charge and the negative charge. Direction is also matters a lot. That is why it is known as the vector quantity. Now I would like to speak about electric power. How do you define electric power? Electric power is the rate at which work is done. Okay. Then, or else you can call in terms of it's a energy is transferred into an electric circuit. The rate at which work is done, or else energy is transferred into rate at which energy is transferred into an electric circuit. And it measures of how much energy is used in a span of time. So there are different equations. Power is equal to V into I. Power V into I. V is the voltage and I is the current. It can be obtained from Ohm's law. This is actually according to Ohm's law. It's a scalar quantity and there are different units, watts or joule per second. Work by time, power is equal to W by T, work by T. This also can be written. For mechanical system, it is better to write in this manner. For electric system, you can able to write in this way. Okay, anyway, both are interchangeable. So that point also you have to remember. I'll be discussing in detail about electric power in the first module. Okay, at that time, I'm going to explain in detail. The energy is defined as the ability to do some useful work, ability to do the work. It is the power which is integrated over time. Integrated means summation. So energy can be written as power into time, which I have written over there. Power into time. See, power into time. I have written the same thing. The unit to measure energy is either you can call joules or watt per second. Watt per second or joule. Watt per second. Sorry, watt second, not watt per second, watt second. What is the commercial unit of electrical energy? You can call 1 unit. Somebody will call 1 unit, or you can call 1 kilowatt hour. Kilowatt hour. Normally, what is the commercial unit of electricity? That is kilowatt hour. And energy can be written as work. It is equivalent to work. It is equivalent to work, or else you can write voltage into charge, VQ. Okay, or else you can write V into I into T according to the equation for current. Current is equal to I into T. Or else you can write P into T. VI means P into T. That means power into time, that is equal to energy. So this equation can be remembered. Definitely it will be helpful for solving the numerical examples. So I hope you understood the relation between power and energy. So energy is equal to power into time. Power is equal to energy by time. That's it. What is electromotive force? It is actually the voltage developed by either battery or a dynamo or a DC generator. Okay, that is called EMF. It is similar to voltage. It is similar to voltage. The unit is volt. Okay, and this will be considered. We are not connecting any kind of load, just like an open source, that like open circuit voltage. So there is a battery, but we are not connecting to the load. So how much potential can be offered by the source? That is represented by EMF, electromotive force. Okay. Now I would like to show you one simple electric circuit. So every electric circuit should have one source. This is represented as source. And also there will be always a load. Always load. Here the battery will act as a source and the lamp will act as a load. Here there will be a controlling unit in between. Here I haven't mentioned. However, you can understand there will be a controlling unit. So current will always travel from positive to negative, higher potential to lower potential. Okay. Here we can able to observe this is representing the terminal voltage V1. V1 is representing terminal voltage. That means voltage across the terminals of the source. These are the terminals. A and B are the terminals of the source. Voltage across the terminals of the source are called as terminal voltage. And also you can able to calculate the overall efficiency by computing efficiency eta, that is equal to output power divided by input power. If you want, you can able to represent in terms of percentage also. So multiply by 100. So you'll be getting in terms of percentage efficiency. So we have source and we will be having load. And if it is DC circuit, you have to take the polarity. If it is AC, polarity does not matter. And you can able to compute the efficiency by using the formula output power divided by input power. So this also can be compared with the water analogy. Okay, water. Correct. If you are having any queries, you can put up in the comment box. So let me conclude. So in this session, I have discussed about the different terminologies which are used in basic electrical engineering. Especially you can call electrical engineering: charge, drift velocity, then electric current, resistance, drift current, current density, voltage, and also conductance and conductivity, electric field, power and energy, EMF and efficiency. And I made a suitable comparison. Okay, like current flow is compared with the water flow, and the switch, that is a controlling unit. Here tap. Okay, and what I can say, the resistance of the wire that will be compared with the frictional resistance of the particular pipe, and the load will be compared with the water will be compared with what I can say, the bulb which you have connected over the. Okay, likewise you can easily you can able to make out. Okay, so these terminology you have to remember when you are going to learn about the further terminologies and the further concept of electrical engineering. Okay, it will be helpful for even school students also. I hope so. Even those who are preparing for 12th and 10th level examination, that is also required. Even those who are looking at competitive examination, please recall this information before appearing for the examination. Okay. Anyway, I'm mainly focusing for the first year engineering students. Hope the session is useful to you. So if you are having any queries, please do put up in the comment box. Thank you very much for watching this video.